Come on.
Well, we're all getting trading cards.
Good evening. I'd like to call the July 23rd, 2024 Verona Borough Council Workshop Meeting to order. Please join me in standing for our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please. Mrs. Wolford.
Mrs. Provenza? Present. Mr. Flota?
Here.
Mayor Recupero?
Here.
Vice President Radzak?
Present.
Dr. Carpenter? Present. Mr. Jamelis?
Present.
Mr. Long?
Here.
And President Suchovich is excused from the meeting. What are you looking at? There's two Wolfords up there.
Yeah, but is he here? Okay. I thought maybe he was here on Zoom.
No, he is not.
Okay.
He said he would not be here. He is preparing for a trip.
Are there any emergency additional agenda items?
Not that I know of.
I see there are no registered comments from the public. Council will now take comments from the public on agenda or non-agenda related items. Please approach the podium or raise your virtual hand, state your full name and address, and try and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less.
Okay, hello.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Rhoda Wharf, 636 3rd Avenue in Verona. I would love to say that Saturday we went to a CPR class. It was wonderful. I want to thank Nancy for even, introducing it to us. It was very informative. We got certified. Terry and Patty were just wonderful from Lower Valley Ambulance Service. And I encourage everyone to take the class. Hopefully you're going to continue them and even expand the classes into more detail, safety, information that we can learn from to help people. I think it was wonderful. Thank you so much for having it at the Fire Hall.
Thank
That's
you,
all I
Rhoda.
have. Thank you. Absolutely.
I agree, Rhoda. It was wonderful. I highly encourage everyone in the borough to take advantage of it. It's, I told my neighbor about it. He's already interested. So whenever we do another one, perhaps we can raise some more interest. It was pretty cool.
Awesome. Yes, thank you for coordinating that.
And thank you, Steph, for making the flyer.
Not a problem. Okay, I screwed everything up. Somebody help me.
Upper right corner. Upper right.
Oh,
There you go.
there we go. Okay. Thank you.
Despite a packed house, it looks like no one else is approaching the podium.
You go, girl.
Moving on, there are also appears to be no comments from advisory boards and commissions. We'll move on to discussion items. First is council president's items with Ray, who is again not in attendance. I just want to announce on all of our behalfs that we did hold an executive session prior to this workshop meeting on personnel, specifically police benefits.
Go, Madam President.
Next up, we have Mayor Recupero.
Yeah, I just have one real quick thing that was brought to my attention yesterday, actually. Back in the late 90s, I was involved in redoing the war memorial over there. We got bricks along with the chambers. We got the, people bought bricks and we had monuments there with the names and stuff on there redone. The cannon was in very bad shape. Actually went further than that. Bob Gucci was here as foreman, so it would probably be 92, early 90s. But anyways, we had all new wheels made. The Army's made the wheels. Avalota's painting. They donated their time in sandblasting that and repainting it back to the original color. And it's lasted pretty long, but it's now starting to show its age. And I got a call yesterday from John Shaw. A lot of people know him by JB. And he said the Verona and Oakmont vets, they want to do fundraisings to repaint the cannon again. And I just told him that I think it's a very great idea, and I told him I'd bring it up to the board. So I don't know how everybody feels,
Matt, could you give him my email, because I do want to start a project over there also on the hillside, right next to the step of the memorial, to sell bricks, and build that hillside up to actually be able to plant something there.
Okay.
Stay. So if we could work together. that'd be great.
Yeah, and I gave him some, information on some people who, could probably help us repaint that. And, he knows those people, so he's gonna be in touch with them, and hopefully we can get it, done again.
You
Well,
know JB
right.
Shaw, right?
Yeah,
He's a good guy.
yeah,
He does JVs.
I know Jay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, and, if everything goes the way it goes, we'll get the street department to tow it down there. And that's what we did before,
Sounds like a great project.
yeah.
And I don't think they'll have any problems with that.
Oh, no, they won't. That's all I have at this time.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry, one real quick thing too. The car cruise is August 10th. The streets will be closed from 1 to 9 on August 10th.
I will get that on Facebook and Twitter. I apologize. And what time did you say?
I close the street down at 1 o'clock. It's supposed to be from 4 to 8.
Thank you.
But yeah, somebody had asked me, why don't you start it earlier, so at 1 o'clock? I said, why? So everybody can be here at 11. It's just the way it goes. I mean, I do it myself when I go to the shows with my cars, but that's all I have at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Next up, we have Borough Manager's items with Mrs. Wolford.
Just as an FYI, I did receive a phone call. I understand, I think we all do, about the issue of the deer population. I responded basically to say the only way that this would work and work well would be, we all would have to get together, and that would be Penn Hills, Wilkinsburg, Oakmont, everybody.
a letter to Oakmont thanking them for the phone.
You know, I am not a good person to ask. I love baby deers, so all the baby deers right now are making me go aw.
So what they want is the deer wants all the humans out of here because they were here first.
Yes. And I'm
Yeah, I know.
I'm a Bambi kind of girl.
Yeah, I understand that.
The next thing, I would like to do, and I have to make sure I can do this. I should be able to share my screen.
You're not share.
I'm trying to. It's not letting me do it.
I don't get you.
Yeah, it's not shared.
Yeah,
Now hit share again.
Yes.
now share on yours. Did you release the permission?
It says disabled,
No, that got right there, yeah.
multiple for this,
participants.
okay. And let's see if it works. It's not working. Why is it not working? Tim, I might need your help. Oh, maybe, see if this, no, it's not going over here.
Progress. Where's security?
Yeah, that's how I do with security. Post tools, they call it post tools now. It's right to the right of share.
I should be allowed to share. Let's see what happens if I try. Okay, so here's me. Here's. Okay, now it disappeared.
We're having some technical
Having
difficulty,
yeah.
so please bear with us.
You stand by.
Okay.
Here's the presentation. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
Sorry. Usually I'm not this technology unadvanced.
You're doing two screens.
I think that's my problem, looking at like 13 things.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am going to share with you, the, 2024 budget review that takes us through the first 6 months of our budget. Just so you have a feel for where we're at, and where we're going as we prepare to get ready to do the 2025 budget. This budget review will be placed online sometime this week, just so everybody can get a better view. I need to move you. Okay. What you're about to see is an overview of the current revenues as of June 30th of 2024, an overview of the current expenses, major income and expenses from July 1st of 2024, updated grant projects, ARPA funds, and sewer fund repayment. First off, you can see our revenue for the first 6 months. And you can see that we're about 60% of revenue. We're at 1.2 million, a little over, about almost $1.3 million. This is in large part because most of our real estate taxes come in between April and June. We will continue to see some of those come in, and we will continue to see other items increase as the year goes on. Expense wise, you can see we are only about 40% of our expense budget. Everything seems to be running the way it should. The biggest expense that's a little off is zoning and planning, but that's also money that comes in on the income side. We never quite know how to budget, which way is best to budget for that. Does anybody have any questions from the council from income or expense?
Thank you for explaining that about planning and zoning.
Next up is, as you can see, the fund balance at the end of 2023 as audited was $844,579. So $844,000. Our revenue right now is 1.278 million. Our expenses are 822,000, leaving us with a fund balance right now of 1.3. Do not get very excited. The last 3 months usually sees that fund balance drop extensively because we're not bringing in the same amount of money we're bringing in right now. It's a pretty number for like 3 months, and it makes me happy, but it will change.
Yeah, a lot of our bids and that will be being paid in the last 3 months.
Yeah. Contracts for grants.
I'm laughing because our past borough manager, Bonnie Conway, she said the same thing. Don't get excited just because we got this number in there.
Yeah.
Still got 6 months to go or whatever.
We got 6 months to go, and it's not gonna look this pretty at the end.
Yeah.
Paving projects that are either done or are on the verge, Center Avenue is completed. We have done Wildwood is done at Allegheny River Boulevard, which we all love because it's no longer the moon crater. And then my crying part, first from north to the water department patch is done. Some of that has been torn up due to a water main break. The water department promises to fix it. The paving of 3rd Street, Athletic Street, Vogels, the alleyways between South and Vogels is currently working on a bid. The hope is the bid will go out soon, which would mean it could quite possibly be done this year. Sylvan Way, the next section, the bid opening is August 8th. That means you could probably see that being completed by the end of August. And the remaining length of Sylvan Way, Front Street, Heron Avenue, unnamed alley between, that's what they call it, it's Brunot and Heron. We're expecting an announcement on that in September, and that would be through local shares monies. The next item you will see is where we are at as of June with our ARPA funds. The big deal is they have to be gone at the end of the year. As you can see, we are sitting on a balance of $2,100, so they will be gone. No need to worry, there's roads to be paved, items to be completed, so they will be gone. Currently, what came out of that would have been the office furniture, the 4 ADA ramps that were approved on Sylvan Way. The Wildwood Culvert, the last section, it was a little bit more expensive than we thought because it needed more rebar and cement. First Street paving to North Avenue, and then Wildwood and ARB. Any questions on that? The sewer fund. On 12/31/2023, the sewer fund sat at $492,066.73. As of today. Is today the 23rd? Yeah, if it's not, it should be today. We have written off $117,000 on the sewer fund. And the amount owed takes us down to $374,962. What has been written off that expense as of right now that doesn't show up in the audit is $60,000 was transferred from the general fund. $36,000 was rental income from Penn Hills. We had to fix the way it was sitting. And $21,104 are expenses written to the sewer fund. By the end of the year, we figure that 21,000 will be about 36,000. So the sewer fund will be down to about 350. So we are getting there. Compared to where you were when I started. Last but not least is kind of where we are at with the budget. I am asking, since we're all sitting here, for committee requests by August 30th of 2024. That is earlier than normal. My goal in life is to get the budget done earlier than normal. I would like to have a rough draft completed for the finance committee in September of 16. October of 24, the budgeting process will look at sewer fund, capital budget, and the 2025 grants. By October 21st of 2024, you will have a 9-month budget review presented to the finance committee. At that time, we will discuss the review of the minimum fund balance policy for the 90-day benchmark. And we will create suggestions for the council to vote on for October of 2022. We will discuss the minimum fund balance policy coming up. The workshop meeting is October 22nd. The budget will be given to council for review. We will then choose a budget meeting date. The earlier in November, the happier I will be. So we'll have the public budget meeting. November 12th is the council meeting for changes and revisions. The workshop meeting, just so everybody knows, is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So I'm trying to push everything up so that we're not stopped. The final point would be the budget would be advertised and available for public view at the latest on November 27th and December 10th. It would be voted on by council. Are there any questions?
Not a question, but if you are hoping to have the public budget meeting before November 12th, I just wanted to remind everyone that Tuesday before that is election.
Well, I don't feel that it has to be on a Tuesday.
Okay, I'm just saying, we generally try to have.
My office, our office, the way it looks right now, will be closed on election day. So I am. The earlier the better. I feel like the longer we sit on it, my hope would be to maybe do it the 6th or the 7th November. And I don't see any reason why it could be a Wednesday or a Thursday. that would give us time to have a public meeting before we have our council meeting. So that, but we have time to discuss that. Any other questions?
No, thank you for the comprehensive overview.
Well put together.
Okay, is that everything for you, Mrs. Wolford?
I have a Josie update.
All right, yeah, what's next?
Yep.
Insurance items.
Josie was unable to be with us tonight. We gave her the day off. The link to the survey can be found at the website. Can be found in the text message, the new text message that we sent out with the new link. We will send that link out one more time via text message. And there is also a QR link on Facebook. Very easy. I did the QR links because you can just take a picture. And then paper copies are available at the Borough Building. She is currently working on stakeholder interviews. I think she has everybody she needed. Interviews are set. So she just wanted me to give you that update.
When should it be submitted by?
Our hope is to have the majority of everything in, by like August 12th.
One person called me about the second link that you sent out and said that once she put all her stuff in and went to submit it,
We fixed that problem.
okay.
They did something wrong, so it's all fixed now. It was user error.
Oh,
So it's all good.
All right, very good. Next, we have council committee discussion items. First up is Parks and Property, Vince Flota.
Yes, we had our meeting last week. This is probably the best time to bring this up here, is we have, to look at our updated fee schedule. Or it was a short-term.
It's for short-term.
Short-term property. Has no fees on it. We passed a resolution for code change back 2017 or something, and it mentions fees, but there is no fee for short-term.
It even mentions requirements for having, things like.
Dye tests and stuff.
And all that, all the stuff that rental people have to go through, they have to go through. But then it looks like we just kind of went. So.
Yeah, so we're looking at that. I would like to ask council to also take a look at it and give my committee their input to what it's been in the past, I don't know what it's been in the past. I never filled out a short-term rental permit, so I don't know what they charged back in 2015 or.
And neither did anybody else.
Yeah, so if anybody has any of that information, kindly email it to me and we'll just start from a comparable, towns, fee schedule.
What you're going to start to see from us, is all the stuff that you guys passed. And for whatever reason may not be completed. So that we can get them completed, so we can get everything good and online for Eco 360. This is one of many, some of them we can fill in without documents, but some of them we can't. So each committee might see this come up as we go through.
I don't think that there was any previous charging for short-term rental property because Airbnb back then was like a new thing. And, you know, we were trying to catch up at the time and write a thing, but, you know, things got missed.
Yeah, I'm just asking all council members if everybody wants to do a little bit of homework and, look at other towns and what they charge, or if you know people that might have been charged in the past, whether it was officially or not, but just, so we have something to go on.
We have not found anything, we have looked, we have done through, so if they have, we would love to know.
Yeah, I can start reaching out to other municipalities that, like I said, are comparable with us. You know, prices, you know. I'll keep everybody updated, and if anybody has any suggestions, just reach out to me. This is. It's not gonna be easy. We have a lot, except we said, we have a lot of stuff that we have to. Work on and keep going, and we'll get there.
We kind of were trying to convince Josie to stay.
Totally on board with that.
She's like, no.
Find it in the budget.
I was like, she's like, no, we're like, dang. Because there is a lot.
Yeah, my committee's also working on a lot of other stuff, but nothing as important as getting that taken care of. Just-
That's all for
That's
tonight.
all I have.
All right. Thank you, Vince. Next, we have the Finance Committee, Timothy Long.
Nope,
No.
come on, Ray.
Oh.
Skip it.
I'm just so excited for finance. Next, we have.
Madam Vice President, you skipped me.
No, Sylvia, don't skip Sylvia.
Nobody skips Sylvia.
Sylvia.
Ardens, please, Community Relations Committee with Miss Sylvia Provenza.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Okay, I, along with my committee, finally came up with a funeral flower policy. Not a real pleasant subject to talk about, but it's something that does happen, so here we go. We have selected a price of $150 maximum to be spent on flowers. Now, this can, of course, be amended by council to keep with current price increases too, so we put it at that figure. And what we came up with, we started with all current employees and also former borough employees that have worked for the borough a minimum of at least 10 years and that are still in good standing with the borough.
Just so you know, this is really depressing.
I know,
She
that's
started
why
out
we
with
keep
that.
putting it off.
It was more depressing having to talk about it every 6 months.
Yeah, we want a happier one next time.
Yes.
Now, we have also put down our current state representative, which of course is Joe McAndrew, and our current state senator, Jay Costa.
Could we just put state rep and
Yes.
state senate, but we don't actually name them?
Yes.
Just in case, okay.
Also, our current council members that are on current council right now. And current borough employees
Okay.
that would have a death in their immediate family,
Okay.
which would be like mother, father, sister, brother, husband, wife, children. And this policy can also be amended by council at any time. And flowers can be decided for purchase through even email at the will of council. And if it's time sensitive and we need a decision immediately, then it can be made by our borough manager.
Can I ask a favor? Can I have that typed so that I can make sure it's typed up and then I can present it? You can have it on there.
Okay. And, if you have any questions, we can answer them for you. And, I think this is sad part of it.
Patrol, you should have skipped you.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Provenza.
You are welcome, Madam Vice President.
Now for realsies, we have Finance Committee with Timothy Long.
All right, in front of you guys, you probably got email, is the new proposed general fund balance policy. It extends on the one that we passed last year.
You want me to explain it?
Stephanie, since this is.
Yeah, it's, the recipient, so what it replaces essentially is the unrestricted fund balance goes over 180 benchmark. The use of such excess funds shall be capital projects and other one-time uses. My theory in life was you needed to make that a little bit more specific. and replace it with 90 days. If we're saying our benchmark's 2 months, 90 days gives us an even longer extended period of time. What I requested from the finance committee, and they agreed, said is, below, if the unrestricted fund balance is over the 90-day benchmark, the use of such excess funds shall be distributed in the following manner. 25 cents.
Take a while.
Gonna take a long time.
25% would go to the sewer fund until that liability is at 0. 25% would go to the public retirement fund until they're both funded at 100%. And 50% would be transferred to the capital fund. Once the first two were paid off, then it would be 100% to the capital. So, unrestricted fund balance can also be spent down as needed to maintain the borough's financial obligation, i.e. monthly bills, payroll, and outstanding loans. My reasoning for this is, this way, we show in good faith that we're paying things off. We also show in good faith, you know, like I said, that $1.3 million isn't gonna be there. But if there's in like October, there's $200,000, 100,000 would be transferred to the capital fund, 50 would go to the sewer, and 50 would go to retirement. As each one of those two liabilities drop off, then everything goes into the capital. Until that point, the budget for the capital fund, you will have a wish list, you will not have a budget. You don't have enough money to have a budget yet. You know, we have $200,000 sitting in our capital fund. We can put a little bit towards stuff and work towards that, but I think we need a wish list. And as we work towards a bigger amount, maybe we pay off, maybe we can get new police cars or a new this or a new that. I think we're better off looking at it that way than trying to do 15 things at one time.
Say something. I think this is great, and honestly, I remember about a year ago when we were working on the minimum fund balance policy. There was a many month discussion whether we were gonna go with 2 months or 90 days or 6 months or 4 months or 2 years, like how much money were we gonna put in the minimum fund balance policy? And I think we landed on 2 months because of our past and how we were in a financial situation, and we gave it a year to. And we said last year, hopefully, maybe in a year, we can take this from 2 months to 90 days. And it's nice that we're at that point now, because that's what we had hoped for a year ago. Because I remember we talked about it for many months, like, were we gonna go 90 days, or were we gonna go 2 months? So now it's nice that we're actually able to go 90 days and then put that money pay it back. So.
And what it tells the public is we are serious about paying off the sewer fund. We are serious about making sure that our debts are paid off. And so it is my hope, unless, we're all, the finance committee and all of us are looking for input. It is our hope that if there is that the will of council, that we'll be able to pass this at the beginning of August.
I think this is a very responsible use of those funds. I asked this in the committee meeting, but just to clarify for everybody here. When we get to the point where the sewer fund liability is $0, but the public retirement funds is not 100% funded, does that then become 50% public retirement, 50% capital?
No, it will become 75% capital, 25% retirement. And I will be honest with you, chances are retirement will long be paid off. We will have both, they'll both kind of hit at the same time.
Okay.
The major goal is to put as much towards the capital fund as we can.
You made me think of something else related to the capital fund, which is, you mentioned we have 200K, which isn't a lot. Is there ever a case where we want a minimum fund for the capital?
We will get there.
Okay.
That's my dream in life.
Sure.
the big thing for me was when the auditor said just to start one and we were actually able to do it was a huge deal.
Mhm.
You know, and we are using it right now. We have money set aside for road paving. There are certain things that need to be done. You know, we need to be smart with that money. You know, we can't just say, oh, we're gonna do this, oh, we need to, when I say we need a wish list, yes, we need a wish list, but it's a wish list that's prioritized.
Mhm.
That's based on true concrete, you know, facts.
Mhm.
Because if you ask the police officers, they want 3 new cars. If you ask DPW, they want a new backhoe and 4 new trucks, you know, so we have to look at, and it's not, and me, you know, I want a roof, I want the street paved, I want the, you know, so we all have to look at and be smart about it.
And we can't think about a capital fund balance or a capital fund, like say, budget.
And right now you're sitting on $200,000. Your hope would be, the goal would be in the next few years to get that like close to $250,000. And then budgets could be looked at and things can be looked at. That's not saying you can't spend money that's in the capital fund. You just don't wanna spend huge portions of it.
So when you're talking about a wish list, is that just another way of saying to have a capital improvement plan?
It is, but
Okay.
I mean. My theory in life is, and everything I learned when I went to college is. Plans are for those who, you know, they're gonna be broken. I believe that you prioritize, you make wish lists, you look, you try to figure out what each item is going to cost you. Because nothing's more fun than making a capital, you know, a capital plan and then finding out, you know. 3 years when you get to that, it's 3 times more than what you had budgeted for. And that's a big thing right now.
It would be kind of like the concept of a budget where it would just literally be a wish list.
It would
But
be,
nothing would be written in stone,
Yeah.
but at least it would be something on paper where everything.
it would be on paper, it would not be subtracted from the capital budget. At that point, it would say, this is the first thing, like my argument would be the first thing you wanna do is vote. Second, okay, that thing that covers the building, so the rain doesn't come in.
So the way this works is you go to the December 31st of the year,
No,
and then you see what you have over 3 months.
you go to October. My suggestion would be you go to October, you look at where you're at in your September numbers, what you have that point. You're gonna be able to budget your expenses pretty damn close. And then look at it, to try to get it done in that fiscal year. You know, you're gonna know, so let's say on September 30th, I walk in and give you the 9-month thing like I just did, and I say we have $900,000 sitting in that fund.
Mhm.
So you take out what your estimated expenses are and the 90 days, you're gonna be pretty damn close to knowing.
So we're changing our minimum fund balance policy to 3 months instead of 2?
No, it's 2 months. By all legitimate statements, it's 2 months.
Okay,
For money to be pulled out, it's 3 months.
For us to pull money out of the fund balance over the 2 months expenses.
Has to be a 3 month.
So we gotta make sure that we have the first 2 months operating expenses, and then everything over that. After that 90-day benchmark, will be going into the 3 things I have.
So,
We still have to maintain a minimum fund balance of 2 months.
Yeah.
But it will get occasionally bigger than that, and whenever it gets to the point where if it's over 90 days,
So if it
then that
hits the
extra money we can put into the 3 things that she listed.
If it hits the 3, that's when they put the money.
yeah,
Yes.
If it doesn't hit the 3, they don't put the.
we don't touch it. I mean, cause you don't wanna be sitting on, you are sitting on, at the end of this year, you are sitting on a fund balance. Now, because of the way the audit went, because of the way some of the things went, it's not quite the same, but let's just say you were sitting on a fund balance of
$144,000. You could have moved more of that. But some of the things that we are working on and looking at is, you spent a long time in the hole. And we spent a long time looking at, and some of that money, some of that $844,000 went to the sewer fund this year because of the audit and some other things. So we're trying to be really, really careful. I don't ever want to have to walk in these doors and say to you, we screwed up and now we're in the hole again. That is my goal. That will always be my goal. So we try to do this towards the end.
Other questions or comments? Anything else, Mr. Long?
Nope.
All right, thank you. Next, we have public safety, Dr. Carpenter.
So we did have the public safety meeting back a week ago, Tuesday, the 16th. And we did talk about several items. One, of course, was the CPR class. And at that point, we I think had 7, maybe we didn't have any, no, we had 7 registrations, I guess, and that's what we ended up with. On Saturday, the 20th. And as Rhoda and John mentioned, it was a very good class. People enjoyed it immensely and were very enthusiastic. I would like to have another class at some point, maybe have a schedule of twice a year or more, if people think we should have it more. And maybe get the word out, you know, when we would have more time to set it up.
Something I would ask, because this is how I kind of look at some of this. Instead of us scheduling this and doing this, can we ask the community group to maybe do this? Because, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but 3 hours working on flyers and getting phone calls and that, it would be nice if the community group could do it. We will do it as long as they need our help, but it's just, you know.
No, understood. Community group or maybe another partner would be willing to take that on so we can focus more on borough business, not that this wasn't a great thing.
I had suggested maybe reaching out to Chamber also, because the CPR class at one of the farmers market, I think would go over really well.
And then, you know, with the business, a lot of the businesses in town, especially like construction companies or. You know, I'm sure they'd be interested in doing it, especially in the safety.
Yeah, so I said if we reach out to Chamber and do it through one of their events.
The borough's not trying to push things off, we're just saying there's certain things we need to deal with and we don't want anybody to ever think, so,
Another thing is, we should also just, you know, thank Lower Valley Ambulance
Definitely.
for, you know, help doing this for us, and so, you know.
and I would say we need to wait, asking them to schedule anything, they have a big fundraiser coming up from one of their medics and stuff like that in the next few months, and there's subscription drives on.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about doing it anytime soon, spreading it out.
Oh, no, the only thing I'm saying, and no, don't get me wrong, it's great, and I think it's wonderful, I just think that we need to look at like chamber or community group doing this. Instead of it being a borough function.
Well, I can certainly ask and see how they respond.
Thank you.
Yeah, the other thing that came up with Lower Valley mentioned is that they also teach first aid classes, and everybody was really excited about that. And it seems that both of these things do fit well in public safety, because, you know, you just don't know where you're gonna be, and, you know, waiting for an ambulance, if they're all busy, people could help save someone's life. So that's just something that came up. Another thing that we talked about was the speeding, and some ideas were shared about how to decrease the speeding. I'm not gonna go into all those details here. But it does seem, you know, when I'm scrolling through social media, there are a lot of people in town very concerned about speeding through the town and I know we can't use the radar, but there's other ways to track if people are speeding in small boroughs.
As your borough manager, my first step would be, you need to talk to not only our police officers, but to our engineer.
Okay.
Some of the things you guys are probably requesting will require our engineer to look at. And also our DPW. So I'm just throwing that out there, and then on the state road, I have some close friends at PennDOT, maybe Trish, you and I should talk to PennDOT.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good next step, Nancy. It would be perhaps business meeting, to include that in some of the ideas.
PennDOT, I would have to see what I can set up.
Okay.
Then we'll have to talk to Joe. The big thing would be, you have to, whatever we do on that boulevard. It's not Joe that has control over that boulevard, that is PennDOT,
Right.
and so, we need to talk.
Yeah, we've always had, down by Daly's, the lines painted through, I mean, we did it, but got permission from PennDOT. And Center Avenue, we did, Jones Street, we did. And there was one more street we did. Jerry was supposed to talk to you about.
Jerry is working on that, he did talk to me,
Okay.
He plans to have that ready for you, he asked, he just, because there are certain things that have to be purchased. Was it in the budget? And so I know they're working on that. The big thing I would say, like, when we talk about, I'm not worried, like, speeding, like, and the lines. I understand those, but there's also talk about how do you slow down traffic in other ways. So that would be a PennDOT discussion on that road. I just don't want us to get over our head. Sometimes we have a tendency to like, hey, we need to do this, this, and this. I think, maybe we can talk to PennDOT and, Matt has some ideas too. Just to make sure, because, there's certain things we need to look at. I know that, there's a lot of discussion about those lines and those timers and stuff like that, so we could find another way.
Well, I'm sure that anyone who's concerned, which a lot of people are about the speeding, anything that we can come up with to slow people down would be great.
Yeah.
And just to let people know,
We're all working.
Mass audience here, but Zoom audience and whoever else that's watching later, that we are looking into it and trying to figure some solutions.
Yes, and I did tell Sergeant Francos that I want these officers start running traffic also throughout the time.
Mhm,
More so than they
Yeah.
are.
yeah,
So
well, anyway, it will require further discussion, but.
for the non-ARB stuff,
Yeah.
Stephanie, would you prefer Nancy present in detail with Matt here at the next meeting or?
Yeah, I would prefer that we did it, maybe we asked Matt to come to a public safety meeting and did it there.
Okay,
I hate to be in the middle of a business meeting and having the clock tick.
Sure.
I'm not being mean to Matt, I just think that would be a great time would be to sit down with him. He may have some ideas.
absolutely.
I have some major issues with speed bumps, but now there's speed shelves. There's all sorts of new things. We were actually my husband and I were gonna go check out some of those in Pittsburgh. They have those like shelves instead of the bumps.
I'm
Yeah.
impressed with your terminology.
Yeah.
Yeah, trust me.
Okay, and some other smaller topics that I don't need to go over right at the moment, but something else that came to my attention and the time is coming near. There's a lot of crosswalks and
They're
those
already in
things that are supposed to
process.
be painted, not just by the school, but all over town.
They're already in the process. Trish has what she calls her emergency crosswalk lines. They are on the verge of being print. We are working on, please understand, if something does not get done, that might mean that the road's being paved. or it's being repaired. But we have a list. If there's something that you are worried about, for the people on Zoom or the people who hear this later, go to the website and send it through the concern line. We will send it, we will check it, make sure it's not on our list, and then send it to the boys. But they are starting that as we speak.
Okay, so the crosswalk at Center and ARD, the
They
one
will-
on Center.
They will do that one. They will not do the one on ARB.
I got it, but the one on Center is pretty much not there.
Yeah, we will do our best, to get those done.
Wonderful. All right, well, for right now, that will complete my report for today.
All right, thank you, Dr. Carpenter. Next up, we have Strategic Planning Committee with myself. Committee meeting this month, we had Josie and we went in detail over the survey, which is now live. So please remember to take the survey and share it with your friends and neighbors so we get some good data moving into budget season especially, as well as ahead of, hopefully within the next couple years, maybe doing a comprehensive plan, so.
It's our hope that Josie will be able to give a thing in August to council and to the public of what partially of what you've learned.
I think that's excellent that she's catalyzing this effort. And also hopefully that will be something that comes out of our stamp meeting. I just wanna let everyone know, in regards to, I guess, planning more generally, that we will be having a BOV related walkthrough with Representative Andrew, and the railroad next Monday, to explore a route that is an alternative to the viaduct to get from Monroe to Oakmont.
Ooh, which one?
10.
But you have to come with your own safety vest and hard hat because
OH.
I'm providing all the ones I can provide.
Hard hat.
That's a requirement of the railroad.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I unfortunately have used every one I have.
That's still Monday.
10.
Oh, man, I'm gonna miss that.
Where's that, here?
Darn, you're gonna be.
Meeting.
Last but not least, you all remember our conversations about the SS4 A grant, Safe Streets for All. Matt and I did have a call with some colleagues coming out of the Champions Institute to talk a little bit more specifically about how that grant would look for us. It appears that we may be able to match the 20% match with the multimodal that we have for sidewalks. So the deadline is coming up at the end of August, so we're doing that.
And just to bring up about the VOP related,
Yes.
as we are hoping to maybe convince them to move it a little bit as part of that. We are working on the second multimodal, which we will be doing the resolution for, is to look at Arch Street and how we figure out how we make all of this work. This multimodal will go all the way down. My hope is that my plan would be that it would fix the public dock. So that, not that Steel City isn't a great partner, but I'd like to be able to, have some dockage to work on parking, work on that street. So that is also in the process, and that's gonna be about a $250,000 ask for a multimodal. So we might be working on 2 multimodals at one time. But just to prepare everybody.
Thank you for the high level overview. Would you forward that to me?
I do not have the multimodal. As soon as it is finished and Matt sends it to me, I will send it to you. Right now, we're getting the stuff together.
And Representative Andrew is sending a letter of support for this.
And so is Three River, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Three Rivers, and we've got quite a few. So we're good.
Friends of the River.
Friends of the Riverfront, others, yeah, so we're good. But I did want to just mention that part of the thing was with moving that trail, we had to look, we said we would look at that.
Great, and that's all I have regarding strategic planning for tonight. Last but not least, the Personnel Committee, Mr. Camillus.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thanks.
Vice
Don't promote.
Patsy.
So our last personnel committee, we had discussed several topics. Number one, we had our main concern at the beginning was, being that we were trying to, our ongoing issue with recruitment, the police department. We had discussed whether it was strictly just a monetary issue, or was it, is it the image problem? Not gonna dive into everything right now, what was discussed, but we had that discussion. We also had looked at, I brought in an example of a handbook. Jan from Reserve Township, the manager there, had kindly given me their handbook for us to look at, just as an example. So we looked at it. Vincent brought up a good point on because of discrepancies in different policies for DPW and the police. Perhaps maybe if we were to do a handbook, would it be, a problem if, because of the different contracts in place, different wordings, different things like that. If, we'd have to do multiple handbooks, I am not sure, and we were thinking that perhaps that might be a question for, maybe an HR professional, from like maybe DCED or something, to come in. And I know, from when we spoke with Jason Daly, he told me there's actually grant opportunities for that,
Yes, there are.
for constructing a handbook. And we can actually make Verona can have a custom made handbook, made.
Part of the deal with that SAMP grant is once they complete, they will help us apply for other grants to help
Yeah.
us get through a lot of that stuff. And I agree, the question I would have was, how does it work with unions?
Right.
So I,
I mean, there's a lot of legal stuff involved too, so that's why we'd have to get pros involved, I'm sure, and I think he said it was like something up to like $200,000.
oh yeah, we could, yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that this SAMP project will allow us to do.
Yeah,
And the next step, and that should all be done by September, so we
Yeah.
should be able to seriously be working on that by winter.
yeah,
I was just thinking like how we just talked about earlier tonight, staggering all the contracts. Then if we compile everything into one handbook, but then we stagger the contracts to where we'd be printing a new handbook every year.
yeah,
And that would get quite
Right.
expensive. When we separated them to 3 handbooks, or 4 handbooks, we might only print the police handbook every 3 years. And we might print the admin handbook every, 5 years. Or whatever,
Yes.
so.
and I guess it would depend on how it's worded too,
Yeah.
and if there's specific policies that are kind of generic, that sort of don't change,
That we all have
You
to
know.
follow.
that, but if you're talking about like vacation policies that might change every 4 or 5 years,
And I know
that,
they try, as you guys have gone along, and I think we continue towards this, is making so like all the holidays are the same. We
Yeah.
all get the same holidays, we all get the same this, so there's certain things that no matter what, we all get.
Yeah.
To make things a little easier, and I think there's probably policies that we could make that are just Verona policies, period, in sentence. There's other certain policies where police have to pass certain things that the rest of us don't have to pass because,
Yeah.
they're not giving us a gun. I'm just- I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, I wish,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Just curious, you mentioned STAMP, do we know when the next presentation's gonna be?
Probably closer to August or September. They're still working on getting
to meet with all of us. Putting some stuff together has been difficult. As much as they got me, you know, administrative done, they've gotten the council done. They're still working on police, and interviewing the officers. That was a little bit harder to schedule. So, we'll get there.
Maybe August workshop possibly.
I'm not gonna give you a date because I would hate to say yes and then have it not happen. As they give me updates, I will give you updates.
Okay.
Continuing on, so we're gonna, so I gotta get with you, so on job descriptions, because, so we're basically, we wanna start on, you know, evaluations, because of course, we gotta get the evaluations have to be, you know, we have to, they're required.
Those would
That's-
also have to go to the union contracts.
Sure, yep. Applicant tracking policy, we touched on that earlier. You know, we had earlier discussion on that. Lastly, personnel committee, policy change. So, you know, whatever one of us on the personnel committee, needs to be absent for any reason, and, you know, and we're under, you know, desperate need to hire police officers right now, and, if we need to have, you know, an interview or, you know, and, you know, a short period of time, we wanna institute a policy where, you know, maybe another council person can step in and take over for an absent personnel committee member. And, you know, we were looking at, several different options. You know, so, you know, so if one of more personnel committee members can't attend a mandatory interview or meeting, a list of alternates should be available to step in case of an absence. And we were debating on how or who it, you know, would be, you know, those alternates, you know, if we should do it by seniority, you know, how we would do that. So I guess, you know, my whole thing would be, you know, we should just kind of open it up to the entire council, and we should all talk about it and see how we should proceed as far as the policy.
As your borough manager, I would ask that either be the president or the vice president. Just because
I'm fine with that.
I feel that those, you know, are the two positions that should be involved. I think if we sit here and we say, we try to pick a council member, I feel like it's gonna be a fight. Because some are gonna agree and some are not, whereas if you just say it's the president or the vice president, whoever those two people may be, at whatever, oh, well, there went that one. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Would stop the argument, you know what I mean? They would just
Sure.
say, plunk.
Okay,
I'm all about that.
and I'm not sure, I mean, would that require a vote, or is that just I mean, that's just a procedural,
That would be procedural.
yeah.
But what about the president, vice president wouldn't be available for that particular?
Then they could appoint
They
whoever
can
they.
point who they choose.
Okay.
I'm not, because I don't wanna go down and be like, if it's not here, it's, and I truly cannot believe at any point that one of them would not be available.
Especially Ray.
Yeah, I mean, this is an oddity, so that would be my statement for that.
We have Zoom, we have technology to do it, but I mean, it's, the in-person interview is always better, you know, in my opinion. You know, not that we can't do it over Zoom, but, yeah, it's just better, yeah, it's better in person.
Is it mandatory that we always have three?
Yes, because of the vote.
Yes.
So if 2 vote yes and 1 votes no, you're good. If 2 vote no and 1 vote yes, you're good. If you have 2 and 1 votes no and 1 votes yes, you're screwed.
Yeah.
No, understood.
You're right. Thank you.
But, that's all really that I have for tonight. You know, that's, our next, meeting's gonna be, mid-August, I gotta get the date again.
Sounds good. Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Is it the 3rd Wednesday?
Yes.
Yes,
Be the
Third
21st.
Wednesday.
there are no ordinary items, so that will bring us to action items, of which there is one for tonight. I would need a motion to approve a resolution for a request for a multimodal transportation grant in the amount of
Thanks.
$249,064.00. Someone want to make that motion?
Motion. I'll second.
Who was first?
Tim,
Tim.
and then
Tim.
Nancy.
Second, see? Questions or comments? What's the match?
20%. At least, no more than 20%.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pass. Next, we have announcements and information. Would you do us the honor, Mrs. Cardozo?
Then, can I call you president? I'm making you president.
After my blunder.
Wade is calling her President Jack Jack.
Oh, yeah. It's cute. I like it. Madam Jackson. Okay, we're going to start with newsletter, and we're currently working on our August issue of the newsletter, which will cover September, October, and November. And our ads are also due. So if you could please get your articles into us no later than Thursday, August the 1st. And the articles the same date, please. And for articles, John Ward can be reached at 412-828-3607. And also at 412-828-3607. And for ads, I can be reached at 412-828-7726. Chamber of Commerce, there will be no meeting in August. Next meeting will be on Tuesday, September the 17th at 7 p.m. here in the Borough Building. Twin Borough Ministries, their next community dinner is going to be on Wednesday, July 31st, Methodist Church. The dinner is going to be prepared by Oakmont Riverside Church and hosted by the Twin Borough Ministries. Times are from 4:30 to 6:30. Historical Society, there's going to be 2 field trips in August. One's going to the Clemente Museum, and the other will go to the Torred Mine. And for more information, you can reach Rhoda at 412-828-3607. See if there's anything else. Oh, the other thing is, our council, it's a reminder, we're going to have we're going to sponsor the dinner next month for,
If you're going, I can start at your text. Since it's not a sunshine violation and we can decide, you know, what we want to do.
yeah, we need to put a menu together.
Yeah, so that would probably be the easiest one instead of trying to figure it out.
I think last year it was spaghetti and meatballs.
No,
No,
it
it's
was
chicken and
fingers,
mac and cheese,
Mac and cheese.
because I ate the mac and
It
cheese.
was
the whole night.
delicious.
Oh, okay.
Let's do it again.
And you did-
Fried
Yeah,
chicken.
we may have to,
That might be,
we may have to beg somebody to make us mac and cheese.
oh, you want that back again?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. Okay, and also, a reminder, don't forget this Saturday, the Verona Fire Department is going to have their toy drive and a spaghetti dinner. I love that
Saturday.
dinner, and
Next Saturday,
I was told it was this Saturday.
the 27th. This
Yeah,
weekend,
that's
the
this-
27th.
that's
Oh my
this
God,
Saturday,
is it really?
Yeah.
Now?
Yes.
I was gonna say,
I'm sorry, that's totally me. I thought it was like the 20th.
Yeah, we're almost in August.
April, it was last week.
Summer's almost over.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's,
This
yes.
Saturday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. The dinner's $12 for adults and $6 for children, 14 and under. And this concludes my reports. If there's any comments or questions, I'll be glad to take them.
I have something to add to.
I just
Wait,
that
I
was
was
July
talking.
27th.
So, no, I wasn't drinking.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. Anyhow, I thank you all for listening. And Vince, now you can tell about your big battle with the bird.
I also wanted to add to the spaghetti dinner. I believe if you bring a toy for Toys for Tots, you get $3 off.
$2.
No, 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 no.
$2 off.
$1.
I just made the flyer.
Okay, so everybody go on Facebook.
Well, I can pull it out right now.
Oh,
Oh, it wasn't on here. That's why I didn't say it. I thought they
I
had
got it.
changed of mind. No, but I think it's $1 off.
$2 off, you bring a toy for Toys for Tots.
I was told-
Don't mind us, it's been a long weekend.
That's
You
what,
know what? You better call Dan.
that's what the chief told me yesterday to put on the thing. I had the flyer right in front. It's $2 off if you bring a toy
So
for
it's
Tots.
$2?
Yes.
Okay, I was told $1, so I'm gonna stay with the record.
Also,
Um,
this is getting ready for August 17th. We'll be battling the Borough 6, Verona's very own live pro wrestling event at Cribbs Field. Gates open at 3, bell time is 6 p.m. Admission is $10. Kids under 5 get in for free. And this benefits the Verona Parks and Recreation Board, our Valley Athletic Foundation, and our local first responders. We'll have raffle baskets to benefit Lower Valley Ambulance Service, Verona Police Department, and the Verona Fire Department.
Don't forget about the car cruise on August 10th.
Yes.
It's gonna be a busy town.
Yes, and there, if you send me something to put on the board of Cribbs for the car cruise, I'll the information, I'll put it up in text.
And I'll see if I can get something up on, if you can send me something, I'll see if I can put on the Steel City.
Thank you. I'd also like to add, I forgot to put on the agenda that the community garden will have a meeting open to anyone next Monday, the 29th at 7 at the garden.
It's seven.
Yeah, or people are invited from work, but.
Trish, can you make sure that Josie knows?
Absolutely, thank
She
you.
loves those.
Okay, at this time, Council will again hear
I have one more thing.
retract that statement, Mrs.
I
Cabana.
have one more thing to announce. The Gilbert Creamery is officially,
Oh, and if you haven't been, it is awesome.
the reviews have been great. They're open Wednesday,
There's an ice cream place on
5
Second
to
Street?
9, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And on Saturday and Sunday, they're open from 12 to 9.
you got.
As your borough manager, I had a taste test. I went on Sunday. It
There
was
goes my
wonderful.
weight loss.
It is a wonderful, wonderful place. It currently is like a truck. It's wonderful. We all had whirlies. And it's great. If they were open for lunch every day, I would be living there. So I guess it's because they're only open 5 to 9 during the week.
I've heard the reviews are just glowing. They've got all kinds.
Are they open tonight?
Shade.
No, they're open Wednesday, Thursdays and Fridays, 5 to 9.
Always appreciate the detail you do your
Saturday and Sunday.
12 to 9.
Trust me, I memorized the board.
At this time, council will again take comments from the public on public related items. Please approach the podium or raise your virtual hand, clearly state your name and address, and try and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. I see no virtual hands, so I will take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Awesome, thank you,
Don't
everyone.
end that, I'm gonna tell you something.
Tim,
The folks up.
before you do that.
Have a good night.